From the east of spring's awakening breezes to the south of summer's passionate heat, to the west of autumn's purifying waters, to the north of winter's regenerative earth, I open this reading by invoking the Muse. O divine Posy, goddess, daughter of Zeus, sustain for us these messages of inspiration. Make this reading live for us in all of its many bearings, O Muse. Hello, beautiful muses, and welcome to a new reading here at Cosmo Muse Tarot. I am super excited for this reading, and I hope it turns out well. It's a little bit of an experiment, but yeah, we'll dive into this. So I follow this thing called the Mayan Dreamspell calendar, and it's a slight bit different than the more native organized Mayan calendar. It's based off of it, but when the Spanish kind of came into South America, they really burned and covered up a lot of the history of that kind of Mayan culture, and a lot of information was lost about the Mayan calendar. And the native Mayans sort of have restored and recovered and have their system they follow. And the dream spell is really, really similar. It's using the same archetypes, same types of count system, but someone who was sort of like a mathematical genius came in and felt like there needed to be a little tweak to how it was restored. And I find both systems to be valuable and interesting, but for whatever reason, the dream spell particular Mayan calendar is the one that I've connected to on a deeper level, and it might just be that there's more access to certain information about it. Anyway, that whole history aside, every year on July 25th, we go through this thing called the Day Out of Time, and we can kind of release what was, sort of connect into time in a less linear, more intuitive, open time as existing all at once type of way. And the system, something I love about it is it's kind of its motto, and what it strives to be is time as art. And it's very rhythmic, and it's very stable in terms of how the patterns are set up. And so I'm doing this reading on that day out of time. And so tomorrow, July 26th, from where I am, will be the new Dreamspell cosmic year. And it has a certain archetype with it, a certain count connected to it, which means different things. And I wanted to do a reading around this in a sort of layered way, because there's a rhythm of 13 that happens that's really important in this calendar, not only in the tones that it's called wave spells. There's sort of like 13-day wave spells, but then there's also 13 months within this. But even within that, in these 13 tones that kind of really repeat themselves in micro to macro levels, we go through a 13-year period of growth as well. And so I wanted to look at this 13-year period of growth that we're in, and kind of see within each pile, what is it that we're growing? What is the theme of this 13 years? And really hone in that big, larger arc, kind of expansive view of what our soul, to me, it's a very soul-related system. It's sort of soul patterns and archetypes we are building within our souls, which then also gets reflected to us in our outer lives as well. But what is this big 13-year period about? And the new year, the new cosmic year starting tomorrow, is the fourth year within this. So what is this fourth year leading to? What are some energies around it for each pile? And what particularly this year should we be focusing on to make this 13-year cycle, bear some beautiful fruit and be productive and enriching? So a little bit more about this new year with this system. It's when the sun rises in the morning in alignment with the star Sirius. And there is a little bit of a wobble with Earth and sidereal time, which is the fixed stars. So that's in our modern time, I think that we're actually directly rising with Sirius a few weeks before this, but that rhythm still feels accurate. I think that was just something in the sky that kind of aligned with this system, but the system goes on regardless of that movement of the Earth in relation to the fixed stars. So, and don't worry, that's complicated. Don't worry about it. Anyway, July 26th, we start a new Dreamspell year, and it is the fourth year. And so within this 13-year span of time of something we're growing, something we're patterning within us, the fourth year is all about how we are giving definition to things, form, function, structure, foundation. So you think about the four directions of the compass, you think about the four chambers of the heart, the four limbs of the body. There's something very foundational and measured. So it's a year of taking measurement, of planning, of getting oriented and creating the foundations and the structures upon which this 13-year journey is going to start building upon. The first 3 years are, you could look back. So this 13-year pattern started the very end of July 2019. So you could look back if there's something between then and the summer of 2020 that you felt like really was like a new kind of thing, quality, idea, passion that got magnetized into your life. That might give you some sort of clue. If you can't remember specifically or don't have something that comes to mind, don't worry. Sometimes it's not always an obvious thing. But that does align for me, so it would be interesting to see how many other people, in almost specifically like August 2019, really kicked off kind of a new journey in my life, and so it's kind of cool to see this. So last year we were in a 3-year, and that was all about trying to find our expression within this 13-year cycle. What is the expression of that? And it was ruled by the archetype called the seed. So even though it was a year of expression and really finding how we're expressing ourselves in this 13-year journey, the seed is all about seeding things. We don't really see it. So what were we seeding in the past year around what our expression is growing into? It may not have been so completely outward. It may have felt a little bit more inward, in terms of like something you were seeding about expression, or in general just something you've been seeding over the last year that this year you can start to give some form and function and shape to, some measurement to. So that's what we're going to look at. Big picture, what is this 13-year journey about? And then looking at this fourth year, and some influences around it, some things that we should know, and hopefully we hear a little from the muses of some inspiration and creative ideas as well there. Okay, all that being said, sorry, it was a little bit of a long introduction, but I did want you to have some of that background to really get the best and most out of this reading. Okay, so we've got 4 piles. Pile 1 here, we've got Pyrite. Pile 2, we have clear quartz. Pile 3, we've got a beautiful carnelian. And pile 4, this is a really lovely whitish gray stone from the mountains of Idaho, and I actually don't know what it is. It looks like it might be some kind of agate maybe, but I'm just making that up really. Okay, so per usual, I'm going to lead you guys through a breath, and then feel free to pause after that if you need more time to feel into which pile is resonating with you or drawing you in. Okay, so take a deep breath in and hold at the top. Focus, even close down your eyes and focus in the space between your brows, and then let an exhale out loudly with a ah, and that opens the crown chakra and invites in some inspiration, and you could even call in the muses to help you to choose the pile they want to bring you to, bring some sort of inspiration to you through. And yeah, so pause here if you need extra time, if you want to take some more breaths or just need to do your own process with it. And I will see pile 1 first. Timestamps are in the descriptions if you want to jump straight to your pile. All right, see you guys. Hello, pile 1, my beautiful pyrite muses. So these 3 cards I have laid out here, we're going to get to these others in a minute, really are about the big picture of this 13-year cycle that you are in within this dream spell calendar count. And this is such a beautiful, I used this the tree deck to, it really jumped out to me as something that takes a long, trees taking a long time to grow, but because of that, their strength and their ability to, bear fruit and provide wood and provide shade and, all sorts of things, stabilize ground. They really encompass large scale growth processes in my mind. So I kind of wanted to see what tree would represent this growth, this 13-year growth cycle that we are already within, and then picking a sacred destiny and a goddess card. So in conjunction, seeing what this 13-year growth cycle is about for you. What are you focusing on? And it is so gorgeous for you guys. So there's a lot with this apple tree about you developing a lot more awareness about and skill with recognizing the power and potency of being present, and how that's the thing that you really need to start empowering your life, feeling more youthful, feeling more fruitful, feeling more joy in your life. So I feel like maybe you are stepping out of, or have been doing a lot of work in the last 3 years around getting out of some, maybe even some mental health rhythms that weren't panning out so well, like a lot of worry or fixation on rumination over the past, or fixation over the future, or certain like result-oriented way of being, to just being present to the now, and starting to understand more and more that just being in the moment, yes, like we do have to plan for the future and be responsible in that way, but if we can spend a majority of our time just being present in the moment, that will naturally happen, and we make the best decisions, and we relax into our bodies and feel our senses and enjoy life a lot more, and get more into a rhythm of being responsive to life rather than reactive towards life. So being in this mode of starting to know how to move life through you than having life happen to you. So really being able to direct your life, and that really bringing a youthful glow to you, a real deep understanding of rhythms, and just a certain new confidence growing in you, instead of these tendencies in the past that had you stuck in like cycles of anxiety or worry or depression, and just like really enjoying the moment as it is. And then the goddess that came through, Danu, she really wants to bring assurance here of that if you can trust yourself and just surrender to that, when you're present, you notice what needs to be nurtured, and you can just rest assured that you have this new awareness that is blossoming in you, that's starting to wire into you. And just that knowledge of knowing that you're present to things and aware of things, there's this assurance that starts to build in you that things will bear fruit, that things will be stable, and they will grow, and better and more beautiful things are on their way. So this overall just feels like this beautiful path of really understanding how to have this presence and awareness that really builds a joyful, abundant, beautiful life around you. And then this enlightenment card is definitely like, I feel maybe what's that, the main muse, I think it's Calliope. I'm sorry if I've sort of mispronounced that, I'm just riffing with that. I feel her present with that. She's really the muse of like epic journeys, and this card is indicating that you have spirit guides with you that are clearing some paths for you, and that are trying to help your life grow in ways that you couldn't imagine. And so it's another thing of this assurance needing to grow within you, of just being present and responsive to things, because there are certain things that are just being taken care of. And if you try to over control or over plan or have overly expected outcomes you're looking for, it's going to kind of twist you up. But if you can just sort of surrender and trust that you're being present to what's being shown to you and responding to it, that huge new opportunities and potentials are really being brought into your life in such magical ways from sort of cosmic hands in your life. So really beautiful 13-year journey that's taking place here. And I'm just going to put these large art cards up here as sort of like reminders of the energy influencing the big picture. And then we're going to dive into this year. We're starting July 26th into the 4th year of this 13-year journey of the dream spell. And this is all about starting to give some measurement to the year, some form, some function, some direction and orientation, and really kind of rooting into things, but in a way where you're your your mentality is creating structure and patterns. So there's a little bit of a physicalness and a little bit of a mentalness in this year, where you're using your mind to create rhythms and structures, but by doing that, the result is a little bit more physical, of creating, shaping your world, or giving shape to this beautiful 13-year journey. Okay, so I wanted to look at a little bit about the big picture of this 4-year, or this number 4 year, this year ahead. So we have Lorelei, older man, tortoise, and older woman. I love you got to. It's interesting that they didn't come out next to each other, because for a minute I was like, maybe this is a couple, like your parents or something, but I don't think they are. They're separated by something. So unless they are separated, it could be your parents if they're separated, but if they are not separated, I think these are outside influences. But I'm going to actually read the book on this card to give you guys the words about the images here that were meant for the image. So Lorelei says, power, responsibility, fate, and grace. A mermaid sits on a rock and gazes toward the ocean. A small ship floats nearby, connected with her through a rope. She has the power to decide the destiny of this ship and the fate of the crew. With a flick of her wrist, she could toss the ship against the shore, or she could let it continue its journey. What will the mermaid decide to do? She has suffered great loss in her own life. Will she continue the cycle of pain, or will she allow healing and grace to calm the waters? And this is actually really interesting to me. What came to mind reading this is, as I was talking about your past 3 years, having really worked on your mental health and your mentality of sort of rumination or fixating on the future and trying to be more present, I think those things have in the past maybe created a little bit of patterns of drama or patterns of chaos in your life that you're learning to calm and learning to heal and learning to see how that's created some roadblocks in terms of the growth of your life. And so this year is that gatekeeper point of really having this moment to decide what patterns you want to instill in yourself, and really, really getting a grasp on being present and a grasp on sitting more in a sense of joy and possibility and responding to what's in your environment, and in like a more calm way. So like you have this decision, and this is showing a touch of free will in this year that could be a fork in the path for you in terms of how the rest of this 13 years goes. Are you going to allow your life to be more calm, a little more easy, and allowing some grace and some healing, some letting go of old ways of being, old mentalities, and trying to see the beauty in being present, and how that creates a new sense of calmness and ease that really allows your life to grow in a way that might feel paradoxical to you, like the fixations that I'm feeling in this group on like needing to like overplan or over control have created a lot of turbulence. But in your mind, that's sort of been the thing that you had equated with needing to grasp at in order to grow your life. But it's been nothing but done nothing but created kind of tumultuous waters, which has made it hard to like move forward. but you're seeing, I think the last 3 years, you're really seeing a very different way of being in your mentality, and it's different from what you had thought or was mirrored to you in terms of what was needed to get ahead in life. And so it's sort of this weird thing where you're having to sort of like reprogram how you think, and it's like hard to drop into life being easier because you've equated that with like lazy and not getting ahead. But for you specifically, maybe it doesn't work this way for everybody, but for you and your wiring, the more you can be a little bit more easy and just present and just respond and be a little less fixated in past and future, something about that really, really allows you to move forward and really grow your life. And so creating some form and structure and really getting that wired into your foundations, grounding that wiring, and really taking measures to be more easy, be more gentle, and be more aware and present to the moment. Something about that this year will bring in just this huge wave of healing and this huge opening and opportunity for your life to really push forward in a way that you've craved for it to move forward for some time now. And some helpers, I'm getting the sense, even if these are parents, which I feel like for most of you it's not, I'm getting the sense that these are coming from these guides I was talking about. These are sort of like elder angels, maybe even archangels, to me coming through actual humans in your life. So really watch out for an older man and an older woman, because I think that when you can drop into this more calm, easy, sort of like, and I even think with the mermaid of their siren call and their seduction, and like just dropping into your own sense of seductiveness and getting what you want just because you have a certain resonance and vibe. When you can drop into these elders are coming into your life with certain opportunities, like the right boat that can traverse whatever kind of calm waters with swiftness and openings, and like opening the right channels to you that you didn't know you could have access to, that are like a shortcut or an opening to a whole different kind of being or even place. These two people have keys for you, so watch out for them in a positive way, and show gratitude to them, endear yourself to them, use your mermaid seductive qualities, because they can make your life easier. They're bringing something easy here. And then I love the tortoise coming in too, slowly but surely getting ahead. And that is something, I was thinking about with the calm waters, that the boat may not be able to go as fast, but at the same time it can go forward and it can have clarity about where it's going. And that sense of being just present and easy, like there is something about a slower pace to that, and I think that's okay, because you actually will go further faster in this. That's the tortoise and the hare. It's just being consistent, going at a sustainable pace for you, enjoying the pace, being present to it, stopping to eat some grass, like just knowing where your focus is and not veering off course, but enjoying the course and moving at the pace that feels nice and pleasant to you. You're actually going to win a certain race that you might feel like you're in, or like the race of life. I think you may actually feel right now like there's a lot of people ahead of you in a certain, life race, and maybe that's where some of that old mentality has been coming from that you've been working on, and recognizing that it's just not you to live in this fast world and fixating on past and future. And you're like, I just need to enjoy right now as long as I know where I'm going and don't veer off course. And you stop paying attention to where other people are in the race, like taking yourself out of the rat race and just knowing your target, but taking your time with it and enjoying it. And you end up at the finish line ahead of others, even though you don't care at this point. You're just enjoying your life. You're being present to it, aware to it, and really growing in a beautiful way with it. Okay, I'm also going to put these cards over to the side. And we're going to jump into sort of the directions, different areas of life for this year and influences around them. So initially, let's look at kind of like your energy level, your well-being, your sense of self. And again, I can't believe it. So slow down comes again, slowly but surely getting ahead. Your vibe, your energy level, your well-being is really going to benefit from taking a slow approach, but like trusting, knowing that you're still present, you're still focused on where that finish line is, where you're trying to go, what the goal is, what the growth is within you, but you're just doing it with more pleasure and ease and in your time. And there's something about this that's really going to grow, something about your well-being, bring in some healing of some sort, both mentally, but I also feel like physically, because we are grounding and shaping something this year. And then Clover, I think to me, this, what I'm feeling coming through to tell you guys is there are going to be a lot of distractions and openings and possibilities this year. And you need to keep your focus, eye on the prize. And these two mentors may really be able to help you with that focus and really identifying what the finish line, the goal is, to help you not get distracted by all sorts of opportunities and things to meander off with. The tortoise wants a straight line through, so maybe you clip some of these opportunities, but don't be distracted by the ones that are too far out of your periphery zone. If they're right in front of you, I think those are opportunities to advance on and to let move through you. But if they take you off course at all, just know that there's a lot of opportunities, so don't get distracted by those. If they're going to take you off course, just even if they feel shiny and exciting, it's no, this is where my target is and I need to go in a straight line, and I'm trusting that so many different opportunities are still going to lie ahead on this path, so I don't need to take every single opportunity. I'm just going to go slowly and surely and enjoy the opportunities that fall straight in line with my path to my goal. So something about that has to do with your well-being this year. That will help keep you mentally, physically, energetically healthy. Okay, let's look at home and family, your foundations in life. So you've got luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius. And I love Sagittarius down in the home. There's something expansive going on here. There's something, let's see, I'm actually going to read about the scallop. There's I feel like there's some expansion going on in this. There's a little bit of pressure around it. And there is a goal, like I'm seeing here, the arrow, there is a goal. So the tortoise, this finish line and goal may have something to do with your roots, your foundation, your family, your home, something about that, but something wanting to expand, a big vision there. And then I want to read scallop. These are cards, I love them. They kind of dive into the subconscious, but they're a little bit new to me, or I just haven't used them a ton, so I have to read the guidebook. Okay, so scallop. Goddess, travel, femininity, vessel. That's beautiful. The scallop has many associations across multiple regions. It is affiliated with the Roman goddess Venus, the Hindu goddess Lakshmi, making it a symbol of femininity and a vessel. In Christianity, it is associated with the Apostle St. James and was a popular icon among pilgrims journeying to his shrine in the Spanish city of Santiago de Compostela. This gives the scallop its association with travel. And Sagittarius is related to travel too. An interesting thing to note is the ridges along the shell, which converge together to one focal point at the base. To Christians, this is a symbolic of the many pilgrims journeying to a holy site. In Celtic society, it resembles the sun's rays during sunset. So there's several things there that pop out to me. The very last thing that was said, the sunset, to me, when we're thinking about the directions of life, in the directions of the daytime, the sunset, the west, is that point of sort of relaxing into life and being a lot more just responsive and cooperative and co-creative with life, and sort of trusting other things and people to hold some of the, that, like, you don't have to hold everything. There's other people, especially partners, certain relationships, agents, spouses, friends, that want to help hold things with you in a balance. And there's something about relaxing into that and allowing life to be easier, because you're not holding all of the weight. And that comes through with everything we've already talked about, of like, there's something about your roots, your home, your family that you really need to relax into. But the travel thing comes up huge too, because that's a thread that connects these cards. So I don't know if with family you may be traveling, or you could be, for some of you, moving, expanding your home. So some of you, it may be having a new child, or for some of you, moving to a bigger home, or a home that you feel more freedom in some way. Or it could be an overseas move even, or just spending a lot of time overseas and expanding what home could mean. A lot of beautiful things there, but also just that Venus quality coming through, that mermaid quality coming through, just like really relaxing into life and expecting it, feeling that assurance that life is working for you now, because you're relaxing into it and you're being present to it. And so the goal, the finish line. There's something about knowing that, giving some form and function and definition to what some kind of goal is in this 13 years. You can really create some expansive foundations to start building upon with that. And yeah, really cool. Okay, heart, love, relationships. Let's see what's going on there. Building blocks and octopus. Gorgeous. Exactly what I was just saying with home. This, for a lot of you, this home stuff, family stuff could really be connected to a partner. Building blocks coming in here. You guys are, this to me feels very much so connected to someone that you're already in a partnership with, that you already have a loving relationship with, that you're starting to build something more, that measure of this 4-year, you're taking advantage of that with a partner. A partner's really aiding in that, or someone connected to your heart in a deep way, and you're really starting to build your foundations and literally giving shape and form and function in such a beautiful, elegant way. Someone's really holding this with you. And then the octopus, to me, oh, this is really cool actually, because the octopus has a lot to do with regeneration. So it's possible for some of you that you're starting over in love, but you're going to start building new foundations and better foundations and sort of get ahead all of a sudden in love. Like a regeneration comes through in your heart's territory, but in such a much more concrete, stable, grounded way. And for those of you that it resonates that you're already in a loving relationship, you may have gone through some losses or some moment of starting over, or for those of you like moving, especially overseas, you may kind of be shedding aspects of an old life and starting over and feeling some fear about, like, is that going to set me back in life? And this is saying no. This is saying that you're coming back better and stronger, more stable, in the right place, with the right roots, the right soils with somebody. So that's a really beautiful message, kind of more specific to some people, I think. And then let's look at career this year. So improbability and the moth. And what I'm feeling here with the moth, so this is, oh, look how the arrow comes right above. You're shooting for something big. There's multiple goal lines for you this year, both in home and in career. It's like you need the right soils where you feel freedom to expand. And by finding that gives you the courage to shoot for the stars for a very big but specific goal in career, and go for something that you feel is above you. But there's an opening this year, especially if you get the right home conditions under you, where you feel a sense of freedom and expansion in your roots. A big goal coming through, and it's saying shoot for it, but in the way where you're going slowly and surely, going in the straight path without getting distracted. And that's what's coming through with the moth here. The moth can symbolize a rich and beautiful imagination, but a tendency to get thrown off path, or not finish things, or not take all the steps that are needed, or take things seriously enough to make them fruitful. So this is saying, like, to me, like, yes, there's something about this whimsical quality that you need from the moth in terms of this improbable thing, but you need to also channel your tortoise and the straight line through this clover field. Don't, this is warning, like, don't meander, don't get distracted, and don't keep starting over on new things. Really fix on your specific target and keep going. You need to harness your moth to try and get it to fly in a straight line instead of like wherever there's a shiny thing. And I think I already said that at some point, and I'm just looking at the pyrite now, like, oh, there's something shiny. Don't wander to the shiny things and keep starting over and, wandering. Put the moth on the back of the tortoise. That's what I'm saying. Find your whimsy, find your creativity, find your intuitive. The moths come out at night and kind of get drawn to flame, but also the moonlight reflecting off of a lot of white flowers in the summer bloom at night, like the datura, the moonflower. That moonlight, especially at the full moon, that reflects off of those big white flowers, they get, the moths pollinate through that night reflective quality, so they're drawn to shiny things. So if there's flames, they're also drawn to that. So you need to find the main thing, the main shiny flower that, here we have the clover field, the main shiny flower that you need to get to, and don't waver off of it, because you have something really whimsical and imaginative to give, and a big goal there. Okay, beautiful reading. Good luck on this number 4 Dreamspell year, and I wish you guys the best of luck. I really love this reading for you guys. I think it's filled with a lot of beauty and forward movement, slow, steady, beautiful, pleasurable, that ends up being huge at the end. So this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this reading resonated with you, I definitely appreciate the thumbs up. That's a huge help. And of course, I love to browse through comments every now and then. Those are always fun to see if there's like specific things that jumped out. And definitely subscribe. I'd love to give you more readings if you are not subscribed. All right, see you guys. Hello and welcome to your reading, beautiful Pile 2 Muses. You picked the clear quartz. And these first 3 cards I have out are looking at the big picture of the 13-year cycle that you are within, what's growing in you with this dream spell cycle, in a bigger picture. What are we already within, and you know, what is the bigger picture that you need to keep in mind, even when we look at the yearly influences that are going to unfold in this dream spell year. And I have to say, you have really gorgeous cards for what this 13-year cycle is about. But there is a little bit of tension in them, but in a kind of in a spiritual sense. So we'll dive into this, but I wanted to start with the Tree Oracle, and I picked that deck because I see the 13-year cycle as, you know, really growing something profound. And to me, trees are the ultimate thing that grows on Earth. You know, they have roots that stabilize the ground and grow deep under our surfaces, and then branches that reach high that we can chop and use for creating, you know, structures and baskets and firewood, and leaves that provide shade. You know, they kind of just like, it's the tree of life. And so it really, to me, felt like a great type of oracle to use in terms of looking at a bigger cycle of growth in our life. So if this 13-year cycle were a type of tree that was growing within your soul, you guys got the black poplar, which is so beautiful. So there's something really fresh, really new, it's like a new breath of air is coming in for you in this 13-year cycle. So the last 3 years may have been a time where a lot of old stuff was clearing out, and you were feeling new perspectives coming through, movement coming through, a lightness coming through, maybe a lot of travel. It's a tree that's ruled by Mercury, so definitely fresh ideas, fresh air, fresh movement in your life. Maybe a new car has been bought or will be bought soon. Yeah, it's just all about the new coming in, and it has really deep roots. So it is a profound tree. It really has some stabilization to it, but the way its branches are, they really catch the wind and take advantage of like going out in the rain and the storms and purifying and feeling that movement. I actually even think of, I know it was kind of like a funny meme lately that what's her name, Drew Barrymore, went out into a rainstorm, and it was kind of being very dramatic and silly about it, and people really enjoyed it but kind of memed it at the same time. But I feel like that energy is here, like never miss the chance to go out in the rain. You know, when you can. It's that there's like this new thirst for just moving and being and life, and you know, feeling the rain and the wind on our skin. And this is really matched with Ostra coming through, the goddess of, she in the Celtic wheel, she's connected to Easter or Ostra, named after her, new beginning. So it has a fresh spring energy. So this 13 years to me isn't necessarily about growing something really focused and profound and targeted. It's about having some spiritual growth in terms of a renewed sense of life and buoyancy and lightness and joy, and just being able to see the potential. So you may have a lot of new starts and maybe not a lot of like long-term growth, but there's something that your soul's needing to go through in these 13 years of just feeling some excitement for life, feeling really vibrant and connected and aware of and open to opportunity that does open your life up and expand your life and grow your life in certain ways. But then you have this stillness card, which also indicates some dormancy and some need for recuperation and healing and regenerative time. And I feel like that's something deep down in your soul and maybe some past traumas and wounds. There's something about just being open to potential and the goodness in life and the goodness in people, and that there are opportunities and that things can be light and free and loving and possible. That's really what that is about, instead of growing big, enterprises in your life. It's healing some things from the past where it was really hard for you to tap into feeling positive about your future, feeling positive about your connection to life and your connection to people. And that's what this 13 years is about, is really healing and regenerating something about that. And so just feeling that energy over and over and over again of the potential and the beauty and the possibility. It's like a healing journey, this 13 years, that you're really needing to rewire to see life in a more positive light and in a lighter way. So really beautiful, really, it feels like a fun 13-year path, not quite as serious, but incredibly healing, and that in itself is profound and huge. So just going to put these cards up here to kind of remind us of the main overarching energies, and then we're going to take a look at some influences in this particular number 4 year in the 13 years of this dream spell. So we've got, put these over here, pure nature, which I'm going to read the book for this one. I don't know these cards very well, so I have to read the descriptions. But just impressionistically, what's coming to me is like pure nature, just like being, again, that like going out into the rainstorm and the thunderstorm and just touching life, and of course roses, as to my understanding of roses, is like a deep connection to the heart. So it's like wearing your heart not only on your sleeve but as your gown, really trying to open your heart to life. So we've got also frying pan, trouble, accusations, carrot, opportunity or windfall, which I love. Well, I'll get to this. And then firecracker, excitement. I'm going to read the description in the book for this, and then we'll get to the rest of these. Okay, so pure nature, grace, blooming, youth, freshness. Oh, that couldn't be more in line with really connecting into this 13, this 4-year, really connecting into this 13-year journey. Okay, this young girl is flourishing as she develops into a woman. She loves her body and is aware of her unique beauty. Just as this girl does not cherish the beauty nature has given, just as this girl does, cherish the beauty nature has given to you. See the softness and grace and keep the secrets of youth in your heart. The red peony, it's a peony, not a rose, symbolizes respect and honor, ideals that must be recognized in ourselves before we can genuinely share our true nature with others. I feel like this year, this year of the 4, of really establishing getting your orientation into this journey and kind of creating your foundations and giving definition and measure to things, is within you. You're defining what your ideals are, what your values are. What were the things that said, which are, I think, including, respect and honor. So it's something that you're finding for yourself in this year's journey, really creating some definition and form and shape around is, respect and honor for yourself. And when you find that for yourself, you start being able to see it in others and in life, and it gets reflected back to you. So there's something important about this 13-year journey of really creating foundations of respect and honor here, which is really, really beautiful. And then also something about your uniqueness and being willing to wear your uniqueness as a cloak and be proud of being seen in it, and respecting your uniqueness and treating your uniqueness with honor, hence treating other people's uniqueness with honor and respect, and treating others with respect. So you're really learning how to do this for yourself, hence with others, and it's bringing, it's giving some definition to why this lightness is important, why this ability to touch into the freshness of nature and your nature and other people's nature is important. So also looking at these tea leaf cards, we've got trouble and accusation. And I think that this is a challenge maybe coming through to help you to kind of turn the heat up under you in terms of needing to really claim respect and honor. Sometimes we have to go through some challenges to see how important certain virtues and values are to us. And so I think there might need some heat to come onto you this year to help you really claim and see how important respect and honor are to you. And I think this is going to be different for everybody. Some of you may have patterns where you tend to create a little bit of trouble, or some of you, your uniqueness and differentness may bring in others who like to project things onto you, or you're easier to project things onto because you're already a little different. Wherever you fit in that, and maybe in other ways this is coming through too. Whatever the case, however this comes through, what I'm feeling is not so much trouble and accusations. I'm feeling the heat under you in different ways for each of you, that its purpose is for you to see the importance of and really claim and give definition to respect and honor in your life. And then this opportunity or windfall, I love this coming through for you guys. I think the lightness that you're feeling, the movement that you're feeling, the openness to potential and opportunity. So even though you may not be like super focused and growing some big enterprise or specific thing in your life, your openness, that beginner's luck that you can channel in this bigger cycle that you have, does tend to bring certain it's like the universe wants to support you to be able to be lighter and more free and more easy in these 13 years. And your love of, you know, going out and feeling the wind on your skin and the rain on your face just attracts to you, windfalls and opportunity, just to support this freshness that's reestablishing itself within you. And again, with this firecracker excitement, like, lots of wind and rainstorms coming in, metaphorically and literally. You're just open this year. And the form and function and definition you're needing to give to your year, in this year, for this 13-year cycle, is fun, is movement, is excitement, it's not a serious cycle. It's one to connect to just the aliveness of life and other people, and the aliveness and excitement of respect and honor, and the excitement and opportunity that your personal uniqueness can bear fruit to. So really cool. All right, we're gonna put these year influences up top with these other bigger influences. Okay, and then we're going to look at some of the categories of life for this year, and things coming in for that. So first we're going to look at your well-being, your sense of self, your energy, just general kind of what you need to know about your energy and well-being. And gratitude is coming in. You need to really channel being aware of these opportunities and these windfalls and this openness to life and all the new potential and lightness and movement coming in. The more you can pause in stillness and take time to pay your gratitude to the things, the windfalls and opportunities, and just the things you are learning through that, even within yourself, offerings of thanks, channeling gratitude, creating a gratitude journal this year is really going to keep this energy alive and open and renewing constantly with opportunity. And then this cornflower in reverse means it's coming in with a dusk message, and it has a message about just the beauty of life here. You need to really stop and smell the roses. You need to notice the unique, this again is like a unique message. It's really rare to see flowers, flora, fauna, anything with blue in nature. It's one of the least common colors that blooms. And so this is saying something about your well-being, is to really recognize, and it's a beautiful thing to see, though. It's kind of awe-inspiring when we do, especially out in nature setting, not necessarily picked or a false blue that's been dyed, but out in nature in its natural habitat. So there's something natural in you, this uniqueness that we talked about with this overarching card of the year. You're really finding some definition around that this year, and there's something about needing to see that not as different or weird or odd, but as beautiful and awe-inspiring and miraculous, and an attractor feature of you. And if you can get into that mentality and see your uniqueness in this way, your well-being, your energy level, your drive in life will be really plugged in and vibrant. So yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, we're also going to look at sort of like home and family for this year. Oh wow, that's huge. And then hyena. So I'm going to look up the description for the hyena. So it's another deck that I haven't used too much, so I need to read the description. Let's see. Okay, 44. Okay, so, oh, this is cool. This really falls in the exact perfect position in the categories. Family, matriarch, home. While hyenas have a bad reputation in pop culture and literature, this card focuses on the social groups of these interesting beasts. Again, we have this interesting coming through. There's something very different about you guys. Hyenas live in large groups consisting of up to 80 individuals. The families are highly tight-knit, with cubs even able to identify relatives as far as their great aunts. Their societies are matriarchal, with females being of higher rank than males. Convene with your home, be it your family or group of close friends, for they are the ones who will always have your back. So it's going to be really important this year to establish, to give measure and definition to who you feel your family are. And it doesn't have to be the family you're born into. It can be chosen family, but there's something coming into form and definition around this. And you really need to show your gratitude, have a lot of gratitude and show a lot of gratitude about this family orientation really defining in your life, because there is a lot of support coming through with that. And then this, expect a powerful change. You have a new moon eclipse. You may be moving, or just a huge change in family dynamic. Something big is happening. It also means, though, that some endings are taking place. So there's just a big shift here. So all the more important to really define who your support systems are, because there's some big changes coming either within family or where you live. Yeah, so make sure to really establish your support systems to help kind of keep you sane with whatever change happens, whether that feels... I think for most of you that the symbolism of an eclipse, it can feel a little traumatic for what's leaving, but then what ends up coming in is always just like so much more aligned to who we've become. So, you know, it comes with some moments of grieving, but also moments of really, huge renewal. Okay, and then in your heart territory, love and heart, beautiful cards. You've got Yang and Scorpion. So either you are channeling a lot of Yang energy and being very assertive with your heart and feeling a lot of spirit and creative ability with your heart, or there is a person in your life with that energy that becomes very important to you. Regardless, whether that resonates more to your energy or someone else's energy that feels like a heart connection, there is intense passion here. So really enjoy your heart this year and heart connections, and be passionate. You know, but I don't want to say too much in case there's younger people watching, but use your imagination. The Scorpion, or, you know, Scorpio sign even, it wants intimacy, it wants passion, it wants even a little bit of danger, but with matched up with Yang, this is just like woo. That's what I'll say. Woo. Have fun, guys. Okay, and then the last thing, we're going to look at career, and for this year, and sincerity is coming through, and the Lamb, which speaks of messages coming. So you need to really be aware of messages coming to you. It may even be like a stranger you meet in a line says something unassumingly, not meaning to give you a message. It's that kind of thing, synchronicities. Really pay attention to. There's messages that the spiritual realm is trying to gift to you about your trajectory in life. And especially since this 13-year cycle feels not maybe so focused on career and just a little bit like a breezier growth cycle about just being open. It could be something that gives you a little bit of anxiety of like, well, where, what am I building towards? And I think the universe and your spirit guides want to bring you really peaceful, reassuring messages around this that calm any nerves about it or any doubts or hang-ups there that where it just isn't maybe a huge focus for you, but you might need some messages of reassurance about that and comfort about why it's okay and it's not going to set you behind ultimately. And I do feel that, I'm feeling a strong connection to this hyena with these really tight-knit kind of family support thing, and then this deep passion with the partner realm. So sincerity coming through with your career. I feel like a lot of support. I feel like things are maybe like the windfall, like things are just sort of being given to you. And the message I am feeling coming through me, so your first lamb message, is that these are sincere offers. You may feel like people are just helping you because they have sympathy or pity or whatever, just because you need help, so they're helping you, but they don't really mean it. They do mean it. They're very sincere about any outreach given to you in terms of career, to support you, to have this easier, breezier time. It's a sincere offer, and it's stable, and it's strong. Look at how strong that arm is and the grip that this person has. So whichever side you feel resonates with you, it's sincere either way, but this one is a gentle, reassuring hand, and this is a very strong, supportive hand. So whichever side you resonate with, that other side is very sincere about it. It's not coming from feeling sorry for you or pity or trying to control you or whatever it is, whatever the hang up might be. It's the message coming through here is any support offered to you is sincere, and it is coming through spiritual channels, through these offerings, to support you to have a little easier time, because you're healing this connection to life of being open to it. And so, I think career needs to not be a huge pressure on your shoulders, and there's gentle, supportive things coming through here for you. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. This looks like a beautiful 13-year period and a beautiful year period. So far I'm loving these readings. The first one was amazing, and this one feels amazing, and I hope it resonates with you guys. And I feel for you, like I just want you to go out in all the rainstorms there are, channel your Drew Barrymore, and never miss the opportunity to take yourself out into a rainstorm and just feel that simple pleasure and beauty and opening to life. So if this reading resonated for you, the easiest way you can support it is just a simple thumbs up. I super appreciate that, and I do love browsing through the comments when I get a chance, and those are always fun to see more specifically what connects. And of course, if you are not subscribed, I would love to do more readings for you, so please do so. All right, see you guys. Happy Dreamspell Year. Hello, pile 3, my beautiful Carnelian muses. Welcome to your reading all about your new dream spell year, the 4th year in this 13-year dream spell cycle of growth. I just right off the bat have to say this connection of all these oranges coming through is so aligned with what I'm seeing here, and it's so beautiful. We've got the peach, the carnelian, there's all these orange tones with this goddess Epona. So what I'm feeling for you guys is you are setting this 13-year cycle for you is really about embracing certain wisdoms that you've gained in your life and putting them forward for you to take on leadership roles and really grow into that, like an elder quality that you have of like really knowing how to be in charge, how to have foresight, how to grow things with integrity, and to grow really also fruitful, luscious, beautiful things, a certain fertility in the strength that you have and the trust in the wisdom and leadership that you have to share with the world. So a big 13-year journey for you guys, but it's like a 13-year journey that's being built off of a lot of past experience and a lot of strength that you've already developed from past cycles. So really beautiful, really fruitful, really luscious. And the peach can also indicate sort of recuperating if there's been any ill health. Really trusting in the fertility of your life right now, and finding those things that feel luscious to you and really cultivating a sense of that in your life will also kind of bring some better improvement, at least in health if you have any issues there. But yeah, you're really stepping into a big role where you're using a lot of foresight, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of leadership potential in these 13 years. So we're now going to look at this year specifically, which is the 4th year of this 13-year cycle. And it's all about creating sort of the definition of this cycle, creating the foundations, creating some form and function, and really beautiful kind of rhythms and foundations that you can build off of. Okay, so I am going to read the book on this card. So these cards are going to be about the overview of this year. Nice and beautiful tea leaves here. And I'm going to read the oracle book for this because I don't know these cards super well, so I don't want to just make things up. But I am seeing, the perfect key. So there's, let's see what it says. Happiness, encouragement, unlock feelings. This card shows a woman holding a key in one hand and a cage with a heart in it in the other. There is a bird sitting on the woman's shoulder, encouraging her to try different keys with his mouth. Yet the woman has already found the perfect fitting key. She can open the cage and open her heart. Sometimes life is only a search for the right key. There are so many things that are hiding for us to approach. We can have trouble accessing our own feelings. Thanks to friends and family, there are people who can help us find the lost keys to our personal happiness. I love that for this year. So unlocking some kind of some sort of stored away information, access, whatever it is, to your, really being able to access your emotions, to something that fits perfectly, to, let's see, what was it saying? To personal, that was the phrase, to personal happiness. And one thing that I actually haven't brought up in the other readings because I didn't want to. It's already complex what I'm introducing here, and I didn't want to overwhelm people, but there is an influence over this 4 year specifically, and it's the red moon, and it is all about really being able to understand our emotions and flow with our emotions and use them productively to clarify our lives and purify our lives and allow life to move and flow. So this feels specifically important for you guys, like that aspect of this 4 year is a key for you, of like really learning to identify, understand, and utilize your emotions and not attach to them, but being able to ride them in like a beautiful, wise way. There's something about that's sort of giving form to and creating some foundations and some orientation in this 13-year cycle. So emotions, understanding them, knowing in these wise, mature, fruitful ways how to work with them is like a key to your happiness is coming, and that happiness is going to be foundational for building upon this bigger 13-year cycle for, you know, the coming leadership and the coming wisdom that you're going to be able to give to people and society. Okay, so we have some tea leaf cards. Unicorn, use your intuition to make beneficial changes. So yeah, I think expanding on finding the right keys to understanding your emotions, which brings the right key to your happiness. There's something about intuition here. So you're really, I think, going to be developing your intuition here, which super, to me, connects with the wisdom that this sycamore tree is talking about for your 13-year thing, 13-year cycle. It's yeah, you're trusting, and you even see with this tree goddess, I feel like these are like moon. I'm not positive, but I feel like that's moon symbology, sort of coming near her third eye where the intuition lives. And yeah, so there's something really important that you're giving definition to with your intuition that's really establishing and giving firm ground and clear order to the wisdom that you hold, knowing how to use it, how to orient your wisdom. Really this year figuring out your emotions and your intuition is, it's going to be huge. And then we have tent, a temporary situation. So maybe you're in transition, moving locations, moving jobs, something big though, something important. Maybe you're pregnant, maybe you are building a house. I mean, I doubt many of you are doing that, but who knows? Maybe you're going to college that's out of state and it's not, somewhere you intend to stay after college, so that's temporary, whatever it is. There's something, you're in like a transition phase this year, which can always be fun. I feel like when we are put in temporary situations, we sort of have the freedom to explore things we normally wouldn't and really broaden our horizons, push our perspectives, push where our comfort zones are in certain things. And then we've got Vase, a secret admirer. So that's beautiful. If those of you looking for love, that's very good news. And for those of you, I feel like a lot of you may be sort of career oriented in the broader sense. And so maybe there's headhunters, looking out for you, or maybe you have, if you're in school, some teachers that really admire your abilities and haven't fully expressed that, but as you go along may more and more kind of key you in into the gifts they see in you. Yeah, who knows? All sorts of things could come from that, but that's really beautiful. Okay, so those are just some broad things over this 4-year that are coming through to know. And we're going to look at some specific areas of life for the year now. Okay, so let's look at your well-being this year. What do you need for just a sense of feeling vital, feeling your mental health is good, all sorts of things. So we've got open doors, and then we've got willow upside down. So there's a little bit of, this is interesting. I think that you have in the past couple years maybe been through some tough things on a very personal level. It could be with health, mental health, people in your life, something that's just affected your well-being in general, your mental health, your energy, your drive. You've had some challenges, but at the same time, you've really stood up to those challenges. You've really weathered them well, and that has created in you a flexibility and a strength of backbone that is adding. It's almost like it's something you had to go through to know just how strong you are and just how much wisdom you have access to within you. Maybe you've not ever witnessed your wisdom in action or having to be put to the test in certain ways, so knowing the depth of your wisdom. And so I feel like in the past couple of years, some personal challenges have come through to really help you to see this about yourself. And so you're there, this is turning around, and now some new doors are opening to you because of that strength of character that you've built, because of this quality of wisdom that you now understand about yourself and now have a new confidence in. It's opening doors for you, and you should feel good about that. So take time you need for any sort of healing, recuperation, but I feel like you're coming out of things that need that kind of patience, and I think these new doors that are opening for you are starting to revitalize you and make you feel excited this year and happy. And there's some foundational things coming through that are going to help you to give some definition to where you're going and what this wisdom and leadership is supposed to go towards, and what kind of fruitfulness is an incubation and lusciousness you're about to birth into your life. Okay, let's look down at the foundations of your life. So like home, family, soul spaces. So we have full moon in Libra. A win-win outcome is forecast. And that's beautiful. Libra has a lot to do with partnership and cooperation and compromise. So there may be things down in your home center or within family where there's been maybe some conflict or some diplomacy needed, and maybe even some, for one or two of you, this may be a message like some lawsuits around home family stuff, but these your well-being that's now filling these open doors, and this wisdom and knowing how to work with your emotions and find your happiness. It's sort of like all of a sudden you're seeing this stuff down in the roots of your life with a whole new perspective, where balance is all of a sudden found unexpectedly, that gives all parties some harmony, and like the right tension is found, where the right compromise is found, where everyone feels balance being reestablished, some fairness being reestablished, and everyone feeling like they got an outcome that they feel good with. And then I'm going to read the description for Aurora. It's another deck that I really love, but I just don't know it very well. Look at that, I opened right to it. Oh, I love this. Exactly what I was just saying. Positive omens, ancestral spirits, gods, goddesses. Across many cultures, the Aurora Borealis, Australis, were thought to have mystical origins. The Vikings believed the lights were from the Bifrost, a rainbow bridge that connected the 9 realms of the Norse mythology, while ancient Greeks thought they were from the chariot of the goddess Aurora. Chinese legends associated them with battling dragons. Other cultures, such as those from North America and Northern Europe, believed the lights to be spirits of the dead. They are typically very positive omens. Yeah, so I love that. Look for signs that feel very mystical and spiritual. Spirit guides are coming in to help you to see some sort of balance, some sort of equity being found, whether this is around home, family, or just some soul territory, ancestral stuff. There's beautiful insight, I think, being gifted to you to elevate your perspective here and to find solutions that feel really beautiful all around, that reestablishes some harmony that's much needed. So that's beautiful, and there's something about that that's going to be very defining for this 13-year cycle in terms of foundations you need to support you. Okay, let's look at your heart territory. We've got a change in the wind. Let's see, we've got to move these all over a little bit. And divine feminine. Oh, I love this. This is actually really mysterious. In your heart, I think you can feel there's a shift happening. And it doesn't necessarily need to be about a specific person. It's just maybe the way, what your heart is craving, where it's wanting to direct you in life, who it's wanting to direct you to, how it's wanting to redefine. So it's a year of definition, maybe redefining. If you're already in a heartfelt relationship, there may be some redefining in the tensions of this to make it more in tune. But it's like you can feel a change has already been initiated, but you can't see it. It's like unseen, but it's felt. And then the divine feminine is also coming through, which really connects a lot to this in this 13-year cycle, this fulfillment card and the peach symbolism and the full moon symbolism of like really believing in the mystery of fertility, of incubation, of the possibility of what's forming in the womb of the earth, the womb of your body, the womb of the void of space, the womb of the ocean, in those spaces that you can't quite see or define or exactly know what the result of that incubation will be. There's a beautiful mystery about it, which is just filled with riches and potential and depth and so whatever is changing here, the harmonies in your heart towards others in your life, especially if there's a loved one, or if you are looking for love, the way you're looking for love is changing, and something beautiful is incubating. And so some definition that's being put around the heart harmonies and tensions in your life is one of like really trusting in your fertility, trusting in the mysteries, trusting in what you cannot see, in your intuition. And where was that? Yeah, the unicorn, your intuition, like really, that's huge for the heart space for you. Trusting in connecting to your emotions in just the way that you've needed to. You're finding that just right key you've never quite found that's really helping you to understand your emotions and bringing happiness. So all this incubation and the unseen that you're trusting in, so fertile with intuition and so connected to understanding your emotions in a much more harmonious way and allowing for spaciousness and mystery and unseen and intuition to play a huge part in how your heart works, and really finding some integrity in that and finding some wisdom is found in the foundation of your heart is its intuition. It's really being established this year if you allow it. So it's really beautiful. Okay, the last thing we're going to look at is career this year. And we've got Seeker and Lion. So this is, beautiful energy, the Lion and Epona. So really defining your leadership this year. You're really coming into your leadership. At the same time, take the time you need to really get to know who you are and what you want and what quality of vision and wisdom you have and where you can best utilize that in a leadership capacity, because what you can bring forward and what other people want to look to you for, as soon as you can really define this and orient it and ground it, is your ability to bring luscious outcomes, to bring very fertile outcomes. So take the time you need to, you're really riding emotions this year, understanding them, getting to know your intuition. Allow yourself time with that before you really sink into your leadership role. But by this time next year, you should really have that identified and oriented and really stepping into your command, which is perfect timing because the next year, the 5-year, is all about stepping into your power. So perfect timing that by this time next year, you're really going to have allowed your intuition and your heart to help you really know where you want to direct things and who you are and where you can best serve in leadership capacity. And just beautiful, gorgeous, you guys. This is a very, you guys feel like slightly either older souls or just people who have had quite focused lives and really developed kind of specialized skills, or just very capable. So this is a beautiful place in the 13-year journey that you're in. And I think what I'm seeing is it's leading to you in the next year, just like really stepping into your star quality. But take this year to really understand your emotions, your intuition, different potential open doors and opportunities, and finding some balance and the harmonies that are right, and what it is that you want to nourish and make fertile in your life. Give yourself some time with it. Take that in at the pace that you want, and don't feel rushed because you'll get there. You're very focused. You're very capable. You're very and also there's this temporary situation around you, so just some patience, I feel like, is coming, that is channeling through me. Be patient with this. Allow some seeking. Allow yourself to be in a little bit of transit this year. This time next year, you're solidly stepping into something. You're going to know exactly your foundations, your orientation, and who you are within that, and where you're going. So fill this temporary moment and this seeking time and this getting to know your emotions as a very fertile, mysterious, beautiful thing. So, all right, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. And if this resonated with you, a really easy way that I super appreciate is if you can just give a thumbs up. And I also love browsing. I try to pop into the comments every once in a while to browse those. It's always fun to see if there's specific things that popped out. And of course, if you are not subscribed, I would love it if you would do so, because I would love to do more readings for you. All right, see you guys, and happy 4-year in this 13-year cycle. See you. Hello, beautiful pile 4 muses. If this is you guys, you picked this beautiful kind of whitish gray mineral stone. It's a friend from Idaho sent it to me, and I don't know exactly what it is, but I do love it. Okay, jumping into your reading all about this coming Mayan Dreamspell year for you. Initially, we're going to look, though, at the big picture of what this 13-year cycle is about. And so even though we're coming into the 4th year, I just want to kind of step back for a minute and see the bigger picture that's at play. What is patterning within you in a larger sense over this cycle of 13. And to kick this off, I wanted to use my tree deck, because it definitely, like when you think about the tree of life, it represents these big growth cycles and how we both root and stabilize and reach and aspire and, provide shade for well-being and fruit for living. It represents so much in life. So I thought a great symbolic deck to use to show a large cycle, like a 13-year cycle of growth that's taking place. So you guys have such beautiful cards that came out for this, and I love this 13-year journey, what's at the heart of it. And there's a little bit of diversity here, but ultimately I feel like it comes down, if I were to distill it, to really overcoming any sense of instilled and normalized fear in how we were raised, whether in our cultures or our families, and finding a new connection to pleasure and joy and abundance and self-love and self-confidence in life. So looking at the cherry tree, this is a tree that is all about not getting rid of those expectations that are so unnecessary, that we have to accomplish something or be so good or do certain things in order to love ourselves and be lovable. And the cherry tree is saying you need to get rid of these stories. So the past 3 years, since we're stepping into the 4th year, these first 4 years are really foundational, where we're establishing things. So the first 3 years, the previous 3 years to now, you may look back and be like, oh yeah, I've really been working on a huge sense of self-love. Like some of you guys may have come from really prescriptive, intense religions where you were taught, like with Catholicism, that you are inherently a sinner, or with evangelicals that you have to work really hard in life to, be loved by by the God, or by Puritanisms, that you need to give up any pleasure. So, it may be a different story for you, but those were certain examples that the guidebook gives of like types of stories that we can download that get in the way of allowing us to feel a pleasure for life and feel a self-love, and have these stories and narratives around certain ways we need to be, or certain things we need to do or achieve in order to feel love for ourselves. But it's like a never-ending cycle. Like even if you're doing compared to others really well in whatever this thing is that's the standard, it's like you can never be perfect at it. So there's no way to ever like really achieve lovableness and self-love. And the cherry tree is just saying, nope, you are perfect just as you are. There is nothing else you need to do but to enjoy your life. You be you. You're perfect just as you are right now. And so enjoy it, step into it, feel it, grasp it, indulge in your life, and start turning fears into love, and start using love to diminish fears. And Demeter showing up as this nurturer, saying that there is so much abundance around you on this 13-year cycle. I think things are being shown to you about the abundance of life, and things are developing within you to show you that you're capable of being productive, of producing more than you need. And this is showing that like a huge lesson you are learning is how to diminish any fear, because there's always more than you need. As long as you're like being really present and grateful and standing up to your life with love rather than fear. When you're coming from a place of fear, there's always enough. And did I say coming from a place of love? I hope I said that, not fear. Yeah, so you're learning, Demeter energy, Demeter goddess is trying to showcase this to you, and she's also bringing you opportunities to develop some of her skill sets within you. And Cherry is trying to get you to lighten up, to laugh, to love yourself, to love life, to love others. And then Courage is coming through to say that yeah, life is not without fear. It's not like we can eradicate fear. And fearless doesn't mean fearless, it means fearing less. To find the courage within you, something really powerful is rising in you in this 13-year cycle, and you've probably already felt this. Planted some seeds in the last year, especially about this. And this is a year to really define this. So you need to find your backbone and that courage, and to really stand up to life. And I'm so sorry, I'm laughing. My dog is snoring so loudly behind me. So I apologize if you hear him. But yeah, that came through, the snoring with courage. That's a sign he's trying to signify, yes, you need, find your inner animal and let your courage free. And that comes, when you stand up to the storms of life or confront the storms. This is like, the courage is like finding your backbone to stand in your power and fight for certain things, and really be proactive as charging into life. And that is obviously going to come with some fear. And this is saying that's okay, but also come in with love and fear less. Don't be fearless recklessly, just fear less. Open your heart to love and let that help you to navigate and find your spine, to have the courage to stand up and go at these things you're feeling really passionate about. So in one way, this 13-year cycle is teaching you that there's nothing you need to do or be to deserve love or to get where you want to be in life. Like, you need to respect where you are and find beauty and love for that, and just know that I need to do nothing else right now. Like, I am a beautiful living being, and I'm learning how to be productive. I'm being given opportunities to be shared with, to see the abundance, and opportunities to share my abundance, because there's always more than you need. And so the stuff that's more than you need is an opportunity to share as well. And that sharing just is like a positive feedback loop of like then others sharing back with you and this beautiful support coming in. And it's just like overflowing with the pleasure of cherry, of indulging in life and love and joy and happiness. And so yeah, there's something about really letting go of stories of needing to be or do more, really understanding an abundance in connection with love, and really taking these passionate things that well up from inside of you and being courageous about them because you are good enough and because you know how to be productive. And this is just it's just like a 13-year journey of like really owning and loving your passion is what I feel like. It's really gorgeous. So let's take a look at specifically this year, the fourth year of this cycle, which is about creating definition and measure and form, creating sort of the foundations. So we're initially going to look at big picture stuff for the year. And I'm going to read the guidebook for this one because it's I love this deck, but I haven't used it enough to know all the card meanings yet on my own. Okay, so 21, we've got tiny trumpets. Okay, attitude, belief, power of perseverance. A big mouse dressed as a circus trainer is holding a small eagle. The situation is inverted. The predator is small and the prey is big. This card urges us to believe in ourselves. That couldn't be a more perfect message. It's very a foundational thing for you this year, like really orienting and defining this cycle is to believe in yourself. Don't ever think you're too small, too outmatched in a situation. Inner size is what matters. Think back to a time when you felt good about an achievement. Don't give up now. With patience and hard work, you will triumph in the end. Yeah, so it's not saying, like with the cherry and that, like you're good enough just as you are. It's not saying to just stop trying or doing anything. It's just about sinking into I'm good enough. I can do whatever I want, so do it. I am good enough. I don't need to do or be anything else to be good enough to do or be what I want to be or do. I hope that makes sense. And so that's what's coming through this year as a very defining thing. And the archetype on top of this specific year is called the red moon. And it really wants to cleanse and purify things in our life through our emotions. And so I think you're going to be clearing out old stories. Let your emotions run through you. Let these stories, emotions connected to stories of being small, run through you. And you need to process them and clear them out so that you can move and flow into recognizing that you are big enough, you're good enough, you're whatever enough already to do whatever it is you want to do. So I love this, and it's going to be very defining. It's going to help to orient you in this cycle to start building more concretely in the coming years of this cycle. Okay, so the tea leaf cards we have for this year is crib, birth or conception of a child or enterprise. So that's exciting. Quill, get back to the basics. I definitely feel that. I feel like getting back to some basics can really help you to clear out some old stories and sort of like rebuild, because I think this 4 year is sort of about structure and building. And so getting back to basics to build with more clarity, more clean stories, simplify as you need to start building on foundations that are solid. And if that means getting really basic, if that's what's solid and that's what you need to start with, so be it, because in the end, that will lead to, at the end of 13 years, something that's built in a really integral way, rather than just trying to build on things as they are right now. This year is really about trying to purify and clarify these stories of not being enough. So strip back some of these stories, get back to some basics, and and in the end, going a few steps back will serve you very well. Will build you a much cleaner trajectory. And then there's shark. Take care, or there will be a loss of material wealth. And I feel like this is harkening back to that fear versus love. And it's these stories connected to not feeling good enough or big enough or whatever enough. It's this fear thing. And it's saying to take care about the fear that lives in your narratives about you being enough. So when you're seeing losses materially, it's talking about it as a symbol to you to start analyzing stories you have about yourself that are based in fear, and how can you tap into your emotions to clear those out, to cleanse those. And if you need to find someone to talk to that's like a professional with specifically this kind of stuff, a counselor or a therapist or life coach, whatever resonates for you, if that's something that you need to really help you to figure out these fear stories and these stories of being too small or not something enough, the shark can also be like really a symbol of like really confronting things, and actually also a symbol of like hiding from yourself that you are actually a very assertive, powerful being. And that needs to be confronted, because there's some blocks to seeing that through some fears of like needing to be prim and proper or sweet or whatever. Like, you're actually a shark, and own that sharkness. Be a terror, whatever it is. Like, you're good enough. You're powerful enough. But I feel like this stripping back to basics or something you're needing to take a few steps back, review some stories, strip down some narratives you've got that go back a long ways, and for a lot of you may be religiously based. But the exciting thing is there is like this new conception of something, new project, new enterprise, new child. And, I feel like, this 13-year cycle is trying to show that there's some powerful force welling up in you. So you're getting the opportunity this year to put that into motion. But I would give it, unless it feels just like really, really divinely timed and everything's, working in that way and you're not hitting your head against walls, that's fine. But if, for a lot of you, I would say take your time. I would say by this time next year, that's when the conception maybe needs to like be harnessed, but don't be too quick about this until you've really gotten back, stripped down some of these narratives, gotten back to basics, confronted certain fears in you that are blocking you from being assertive with the pleasure you want to feel in life, and courageous for the things you want to stand up for, and be a force of nature for. So because and a thing here to learn is like, this 13-year cycle wants to show you the power of your abundance. So there are lessons I think you're learning about the material side of life and lack versus abundance. And this year is really defining in terms of really seeing clearly as you get in touch with your emotions in relation to these narratives of like, when you're living in fear, how that produces sort of rotten cherries and not enough in the end, even though you've grown a lot, they're not right or something. Versus when you're in love and you're in love with yourself and you feel just right as you are, how just abundant life can be. But yeah, I think you have to kind of go through both sides of this a few times to like be like, like really get it. So it's a year where I think you're going to be vacillating between some material abundance and material losses, and the quicker you can see the correlation between love and fear and connection to those, the quicker you're going to be able to really drop into that love aspect and that abundance aspect more concretely and really in a defined, solid, structured, confident way, and feeling big enough and feeling like you deserve pleasure and feeling like you have the courage to be the force of nature that you are. All right, so we're going to put these up here at the top as well, and we're also going to look at some specific categories of life for this fourth year. And so initially we're going to look at your kind of well-being this year, what you need to know about well-being. So intention, I love that, like really having clear intentions for your sense of well-being, for your mental health, your physical health, your energy level and drive, getting really focused on what is your intention. And this poppy card is saying to, I love these two cards together, actually. It's really cool. So focusing on the intention here is what's key, and not getting fixated on all the details you need to make that intention work. So I feel like getting mired down in those details, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes we do need to tend to the details, but what this is saying for you specifically is a penchant for wanting to get into the details around your intention rather than the big picture and the feeling of an intention, is coming from a place of fear. And if you start getting too into the details, that's a sign of fear kind of taking over in you. And it's also a sign that you're going to get stuck there and not move forward. So you need to just because this is this moon year, which is connected to the water, there's something flowing. You need to just allow yourself to surrender into love and to surrender into life. And there's something more spiritual and mystical at play, and it will bring the circumstances you need to move you towards your intention. So you need to work more on how you feel and being connected to that sense of love. And by doing that, just in sort of this organic, mystical way, your path will keep moving you forward toward this intention. But when you get a little bit controlling, fear-based, wanting to, that feeling of just over fixated on the details of intentions and goals, it's catching you up. It's preventing you from moving forward this year. And so that's also, I think, a good sign of something that could be correlated to, because I feel its connection to fear, there's a correlation to that material loss. So look for that correlation too. Anytime you're getting fixated on the details, is that when you're feeling some lack, versus when you're feeling your emotions, you're letting them move through you, acknowledging them and letting them pass, and clarifying, purifying these stories in you. Are you just magically kind of flowing forward in your goals and your intentions. Yeah, it's something to watch. Okay, now we're going to look at sort of like home and family and soul territory. Interesting. Okay, and I'm going to read from the book for this card as well. It's another deck I love, but still I'm not super familiar enough yet with. Okay, so I'm going to read that before I get into the other card as well. Okay, so we've got dusk. Hold on, I have to find its page. I do wish with this deck that it was like either numbered or alphabetical. I always really struggle to find the card. Okay, 5. Goodness. Okay. Duality, cycles, beginning. The dusk card, along with her sister card dawn, represents the concept of duality and the cyclical nature of day and night. Dusk is considered the time right before sunset when darkness descends from the sky and the sun touches the horizon. During this time, nocturnal creatures start to emerge from their sleep. Where I live, bats can be seen flying around, their dark silhouettes standing out against the blazing sky. For this card, I decided to create a picturesque sunset, typically seen on the west coast or Hawaii, where I live and frequently visit. Watching the sunset against the ocean gives me a sense of departure as the light leaves these lands for other horizons. Wow. And it's interesting seeing, so the light leaving these lands, something kind of coming into a phase of darkness, so like incubation is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, that departure, that's interesting because the other card here is nothing is yet set in stone. Mutable moon, which is the mutable energy is always at, in astrology, you have these quadrants of the zodiac. So each quadrant has 3 signs in it. And so the first sign is the initiator, the middle sign is sort of the stabilizer, and the third sign is the one that kind of wraps up loose ends and is able to finish things and change things and manipulate things and move them, and those are called the mutable signs. So it's the end of each quadrant. And so that energy is all about kind of wrapping up the loose ends. And so it's interesting with this coming up with departure and dusk. I feel like you are something in your home or something in your family situation, or even just within your soul and like ancestral work. There's something that you're kind of closing out. It's like the end of the day and end of a quadrant. You're wrapping up some loose ends here. And so a next phase, a new beginning, isn't quite here yet. So there's a lot of loose ends I'm feeling like you're going to be wrapping up this year. But really like a lot of sense of closure around certain things. So it could be like you've been doing ancestral work, soul work, or there could be some family things, or you may really be wanting to move home, but there's certain things where you're really needing to wrap up some things where you live now before you can do that. Or maybe like you're in the last year of college where you're away, you know, in a different city or country, whatever, and so you know that your time there is coming to an end. Something where you're kind of in an ending phase of something in this territory. And it can be a really beautiful thing to start to, it's a time I think where you can start to feel premonitions about what's going to be nostalgic for you to look back on, and some bittersweet feelings. You know, it's always exciting to look forward to something new coming, but it can also be sad to leave certain comforts. So there's some interesting things coming through here where I think there is some peaceful, because this dusk card makes me feel a beautiful sense of peace. So I feel like there's a peace, a lot of peaceful closures coming through. And we were talking, in terms of this year, as well as the bigger cycle, about narratives that may have come from your childhood, from your upbringing. So there may be something from your roots that you're kind of leaving behind, that are helping you to detangle from these stories of you being enough. So that might be something you're giving closure to, just like on a soul level, in a more kind of mystical way of reading that. Okay, so now we're going to look at your heart space. So relationships, love, so round and round, and mountain. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so going back to this, getting back to basics, I feel like a thread connecting these with a spiral and going round and round. Sometimes it can feel like we've backtracked in a certain way, when actually we've just gone up a level, but we're at that place in that upper level that would relate to having been in an earlier phase in the previous level of the spiral. But sometimes it can be hard for us to see, spirals can be hold sort of illusional quality, and sometimes we don't realize we've gone up a full level. But that's what's happened here. There's something in you that feels like you've backtracked and had to strip away and get back to certain basics, but you're actually coming into being able to view something from above, and you've actually leveled up, and you're just seeing a specific place, but from a different perspective. And so you feel like you're back at that place, but you actually aren't. You're having a view of it from above, but you have actually leveled up, and you're broadening your perspective around something with your heart, you're something with relationships and harmonies in your life, and they're starting to spiral with more integrity, more, the mountain, I think of these integral, vertical, strong, kind of stable, wise forces of nature. And it's sort of like, as soon as you recognize that you're looking down from above and that you have actually leveled up, you suddenly feel this essence of the mountain within you, and this confidence and this integrity of yeah, I see that, I've learned that lesson, and I'm in a new spiral that's so much better, and I've leveled up, and this is actually a new cycle, and something beautiful is coming, and I've really learned some impressive lessons, and being able to look back down on it is just adding to a certain integrity and strength and command that I feel. And you're coming from your heart with just such integrity now, and so that's what you're attracting back, is either others with the same kind of integrity, or if someone is already in your life and there's just this is more about how is that relationship this year. It's really coming into its own with a certain impressiveness and strength. It's really finding its solidity, and it's whatever its summit and wisdom point is. You're finding a view for what this relationship is and could be. So really beautiful energy there. I think that's something you can lean on as you're doing some more personal work. I think this is just such a solid place in your life this year. And in terms of this year being one that is kind of creating the definition and measure for things, I think your heart and your relationships have a lot of support to give you around this, and a lot of wisdom to give you around this. So that's beautiful. Okay, last thing we're going to look at is career. So we've got potential, so beautiful. which to me signifies you guys are really going to be doing some deep, beautiful work on the stuff we've already talked about feeling big enough. Because if you feel the potential and your courage rising up and you go for it with passion, the Scorpio has passion and focus and determination, and is actually, in this book, it talks a lot about it being kind of career driven and not as social. It's very focused on its aim and goal. So this could be a big thing in your life, indicating, so like when you feel that passion and that focus and that potential, I feel like in your career, in your position in the world, in your standing, and what you're achieving, I think that's a beautiful sign that you've really found how to sink into love and knowing that you're big enough and you're good enough and you don't need to do anything else to feel good enough to take advantage of certain potentials and to show your passion and courage and force of natureness that you're starting to really understand is there, and finding the willingness to give that some definition and some credence and build into the foundations of where you're going. So beautiful reading, you guys. Definitely like some challenges to get through, but I think such amazing challenges that are really forcing you to confront and see how powerful you are and how amazing you are. So sometimes it can be really hard to see that and trust that. And so that's like the challenge of this year, but you're going to get it. You're really going to get it. And so by this time next year, you are going to be a force. So there may be some tough times to understand this about yourself and know how to ground it and orient it and stabilize it. But wow, by this time next year, you guys are charging into life with, really understanding something powerful about the definition of your foundation and your capabilities. So beautiful. This is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this reading resonated, I super appreciate the thumbs up. It really helps me, and I also enjoy perusing the comments every once in a while to see if there were specific things that popped out that you guys enjoyed or wondered about. And definitely, if you are not yet subscribed, I would love it if you would do so, because I would love to do more readings for you. And yeah, this is where I'm going to leave you. Happy 4th year of this 13-year Dreamspell journey. I wish you all the luck, and I wish you all the ability to see the powerhouses you are and really find your self-love and confidence and pleasure in life in being a powerhouse. So, all right. Happy year, you guys.